So if you're eating, hurry up. No need for chewing. Just get rid of it. He doesn't want to see any empty seats either, so there's no saving seats. So if there's any empty seats ahead of you, with the exception of mine, then go ahead and slide on forward. And Dan wants the doors closed, because this is no business as usual. You guys know that, right? This isn't going to be no ordinary BPM, no fluff. This is the stuff that's going to get us to the next level, every single one of us. And we're going to rise as a team. So, no casual, no sleeping. Nobody's tired, right? We're wide awake, right? What if you just got a director right now? Would you be wide awake? What if you just recruited a Dan? Would you be wide awake? So we should be up on the edge of our seats. We should be paying attention, taking notes, recording, doing whatever you're doing. Who is already registered as of right now? Stand up if you are already registered. Wow, look around. Give them a hand. That means if you're not registered, you're one of the few that aren't registered. You're one of the only ones. Because over half the room is registered. Good job, grab a seat. And then if you're not registered, but you plan on registering, like you just wrote an app yesterday, you know it's going to pay you Tuesday. We're the only business, the only place you can be broke on Tuesday and balling on Friday, right? So if you're like not registered yet, but you know you're going through the class, why don't you stand up? Like you already know you're going to do it, you just didn't do it yet. Alright, give them a hand. Go ahead, grab a seat. I'm going to tell you, this is going to be the event of your career if you take it seriously. And so we're not going to waste any time. Let's bring up our coach, future Senior Executive Vice Chairman and Field Chairman, Mr. Dan Charlotte.
I had an employee mindset. Right? So the way I was thinking like someone that made $2,800 a month, right? And I got a chance to be around my mentor, where he was making, at the time, he was making $50,000 a month, which I thought was a ton of money at the time, right? And he introduced me to a different way of thinking. And I remember in the beginning, some of the things that he would say to me, I didn't necessarily agree, because I was thinking like someone making $2,800 a month. So I started to mirror his thinking, started to read the same books that he's really to start understanding as being an entrepreneur. And as I started to grow myself, guess what else happened? My income grows, right? So this is an investment within yourself to grow your business, right? What's awesome about our opportunity, you guys, is that every single one of you in here, right, regardless of the story that you tell yourself, can do this, right? So there's two challenges. Challenge number one is some of you are sitting here and you're asking yourself, can I do this, right? It could be a language barrier, it could be your age, whether you think you're too young, you're too old, maybe you dropped out of high school, maybe you didn't make it through college, maybe you've had people tell you in your life that you'll never amount to anything, but somehow you're here, right? What I will tell you, I've seen all different types of people. I've seen people that don't know how to close it. I've seen people that don't know how to recruit. The only thing that I've never seen is someone with a bad attitude. So if you've got a good attitude and you're a good person, you got what it takes to win, right? So now it's unveiling all these beliefs that you might have that's stopping you from progressing and achieving your goals and dreams, right? So let's go over a couple of things, right? So when you take a look at a paradigm shift, reading this book called Paradigm Shift. A paradigm shift is a time when the usual and accepted way of doing or thinking about something changes completely. So I remember when I had this paradigm shift, right? And when I left my job, right, and I thought to myself that I was taught that having a job was being safe, it was secure, right? So I lived home base, I got medical, I got dental, I got paid the 1st and the 15th. The military provided an environment for me. And I remember when I had a paradigm shift, when I said, that is no longer, that is not safety, that is jail. Does that make sense? Someone else controls my time. Someone else tells me what they feel that I'm worth. So at the time, I'm working 60 to 70 hours a week for $2,800 a month. And when I figure out what my earning power is, it was like $6, $7 an hour. And I said, well, I had a shift in my thinking. And the shift in my thinking was, you know what? I want to be in control. I want to be in the driver's seat. I want to be able to control my income. So if I want to make $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, I want to be able to do that. If I want to travel the world, I want to be able to do that. I don't want to have to ask anyone for permission to do something. Like if I don't want to do something today, I don't have to call anyone. If I want to go online tonight and buy me some tickets and go to Paris for 5 days, I don't have to call anybody and ask them for permission. So before, when I was in this false sense of what I thought was security, I had to request permission for those things. So I had to wake up to an alarm clock. I had to be at the job at a certain time, right? They let me off at a certain time. Monday to Friday, right? And I was part of this environment, right, where 95% of the population exists. Where Monday is like a stressful day, right? Tuesday, they have Taco Tuesday. Everybody goes in for a happy hour. I want a happy life, not a happy hour. Does that make sense? Wednesday is hump day. The people that are in the 95 percenters, you will become weird to them. They will start to say things to you. You're changing. You're different. You're not the same anymore. Right? These are all compliments. These are all compliments, which means what they're telling you, right? Because they're not conscious, what they're telling you is, you're growing and I'm not. Does that make sense? So you must be okay with becoming weird to your family. Okay? Now I want you to write this down. Weird, rich, normal, poor. Does that make sense? So you no longer want to be normal. You want to be weird. Not in a weird way, but you want to be weird. Does that make sense? When an entrepreneur meets an employee, they have nothing in common. They don't see the world the same way. Does that make sense? When an entrepreneur meets another entrepreneur, they talk the same language. Employees work for entrepreneurs. Does that make sense? So part of the university is becoming an entrepreneur and breaking out of the mindset of being an employee. Make sense? Okay. So here's some of the paradigm shifts. The new career. Remember when you heard go to school, get a good job, and what's going to be your career? Oh, I'm going to be an engineer, or I'm going to be a school teacher, I'm going to be a police officer, I'm going to be whatever, right? New paradigm shift is people want to build a business. That's the new career. They want to build a business that provides cash flow that gives them two things: time and money. Some people have time, they have no money. Some people have money, they have no time. It's called being broke. Right? The new media is your network. Your network will tell you your net worth. Some of us have a challenge disassociating with certain people. Okay? There are certain people that are around you now. They're not bad people, right? But you need to disassociate with them. Why? Because they no longer bring any value. Follow me on that? Now, that was tough for me, to be honest with you. I remember my boys that I hung out with, I lifted weights in the gym with, we went to the clubs together, all this stuff, right? As I started to grow, as I started reading books, as I started becoming part of WFG, becoming part of this environment, they would tell me, they would say, hey man, what are they doing to you over there? You're drinking that Kool-Aid, man. Right? And I almost felt bad because I was no longer hanging out with them. Because on Friday nights when they wanted to go hang out, I wanted to go home and read a book. I wanted to go prospect. Right? I wanted to go to meetings, invite to meetings, and all of this stuff. And I started to tell myself, if I keep hanging out with this crew, we have nothing in common. The conversations that they're having is no longer valid. It doesn't mean that I'm better than them or they're better than me. It's just I made different choices. I need to start spending more time with entrepreneurs. Now, I want you to get accustomed to, right, with your network, I want you to pay conscious attention to the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with, those circles, right? Your income will be the average of those 5 people. So take inventory of that, right? And take inventory of the people that, you know what? I'm going to kind of give these people kind of a long road. I'm no longer going to be available for them anymore, right? Because I'm choosing new associations. Now, the associations that you're choosing now need to be associations that make you uncomfortable. Right? here's what I mean by that. If everyone around you agrees with you, your environment no longer is valuable. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need to change your group. If you make the most amount of money in your group, you need to change your group. Does that make sense? So for me, in my group, I don't want to be the smartest person in my group. I want to have 4 or 5 people that are smarter than me, because that's how I learn. I want to have 4 or 5 people, what I make a year, they make a month. Why? Because it makes me uncomfortable. So I was making $28,000 a year. I wanted to hang around people that was making $100,000 a year. Right? When I got to $100,000 a year, I wanted to start hanging out with people that were making $250,000 a year. When I got to $250,000 a year, I wanted to hang out with people that were making $500,000 a year. So I'm constantly growing, and my vision is constantly getting stretched. Make sense? So your network, change your network. But some of us is a little bit harder than others to do that. Because we feel this emotional guilt. Oh, that's my buddy. We go back, like my buddy Maurice Smith, right? We were drill instructors together. Right? He's my boy. We hung out for years. Right? And I remember when I made the decision that I was coming full-time in WMG. And I went back to him. I said, man, I'm going to do this, man. I found someone, man. I found this leader. He's mentoring me. I got a great opportunity. This is going to be it. I'm going to achieve my dream, man. I'm going to become financially independent, all of this. And I never forget it. Dion, he says, nah, man, you go ahead and go, man. I'm all right. I'm okay. Right? So he made his choice. The difference between him and I is the choices that we make. Not that I'm better than him. I just made a different choice. It's like you guys do. Fast forward 16 years later, he retires from the military, spent 25 years in the military. He now works at FedEx as a driver, right? Delivering packages. We have nothing in common. The only thing we have in common is when we talk about the old days. Follow me on that? So be okay with some of the people that are around you now will not be part of your journey. Does that make sense? You're going to make new friends, you're going to make new associations, and you're going to grow away. It's kind of like how many of us have kids? Your kids grow up, right? I mean, if my son stayed 5 for 20 years, something would be wrong. Does that make sense? So most people stay 5 for 20 years because they don't grow. Follow me? So your association, those circles are going to continue to change. They're going to continue. That's the process of evolvement. And you can look at it in any industry, whether it's entertainment, whether it's the movie industry, whatever industry, a business that's thriving is usually led by a leader that's growing. Make sense? Family, the new education is your family, right? The new college is your mentor, right? So you want to find someone that's very successful, right? That's willing to teach you. Now here's the thing. You got to bring something to the table. Here's what you got to bring to the table. You got to have a burning desire. Right? So wherever your SMD is, whatever office you're in, you got to get their attention. Not by talking, but by doing. Does that make sense? Your leader sees you give 150%, they'll give you back 100%. But if you're coming up with all these different excuses, right? You're trying this thing, your leader's not going to pour 100% into you. You have to earn the time for your mentor by results. Right? You want to be successful? Very simple. You find someone that's successful, that has a platform, right? And you do exactly what they tell you to do. But one of the things is, we have to get out of our own way. Right? So a lot of times is, you don't know what you don't know. So early on, I was making decisions like an employee. Because I was used to, for years, exchanging my time for a paycheck. Entrepreneurs invest their time for a future dividend. It's the craziest thing when you think about it, right? So you go to school, say you want to be an engineer, or let's say you want to be an attorney. You go to school for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. Are you making money when you go to school? School's a business, isn't it? Are you spending money? Are you getting in debt? So you spend 7, 8 years, you go to school, you get your degree, you go in debt for a couple of $100,000, right? And the very people that are teaching you the classes, that are teaching you all this stuff, have never built a business before. I was telling a guy the other day, because he's not a teacher, but he's a consultant, right? Like a big shot, he's a consultant. I said, you know, when you can't do, you teach. You realize that? Because if you could do, you wouldn't have to teach, you just do it. Right? When you can't teach, you consult. Did you know that? Did you know that? Like one day we were in one of my offices, we had a product provider come in. And product provider was from ING at the time. We had a room full of people. And the product provider was teaching about the products and how it works and all of this stuff. Right? So after he was done, there was about 100 people in the room. And I said, man, isn't it interesting that this guy understands everything about the products and he's teaching you everything about the products? I just have one question. You make a lot more money selling the product than teaching about the product. Why does he choose to teach about the product instead of selling it? Because he can't sell it. See the difference? Right? So you find a leader that's successful, that's a doer, that's doing it, that's willing to teach you how to do it. Just because you know it, don't mean that you can sell it. Make sense? So you got to find a mentor that's going to invest time into you. Right? This is what this whole class is all about. Right? So it's a different way of thinking. Right? The new healthcare is wellness. We've got access to information now. Remember back in the day when you went to a doctor and the doctor gave you a prescription and you actually listened to the doctor? People don't do that anymore. They check up behind the doctor. There's tons of information on the internet. Follow me on that? I remember I hurt my back years ago, and the doctor gave me some Oxycontin and all this stuff. So I'm not taking this crap. Right? I didn't take it. I chose other ways to fix my back. Right? Because I know that led to all these other side effects and all this stuff. Right? So people, we have access to information. Community, the new neighborhood is your community. Right? You can design, right, as an entrepreneur, you can design the space that your kids grow up in. I remember one year, I got a car. I think I got a Hummer. And someone says to me, hey, is your Hummer bulletproof? I go, why does my Hummer need to be bulletproof? I don't want my Hummer to be bulletproof. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to be anywhere where I need to be in a bulletproof Hummer. Does that make sense? So you need to design your life. Design your life. Go drive in the neighborhoods that you want your families to grow up in. Right? They make all the beautiful homes, all the people that believe that they deserve it. Does that make sense? So now, you should feel that you deserve to have the best. Why? Because you're willing to do the things that most people are not willing to do. Right? So these are paradigm shifts. Like literally, you've made a decision, a shift in your thinking, and all of a sudden, everyone around you goes, whoa, you are different. And you go, yes, I am. Does that make sense? Now, here's what you need to know about relatives. Okay? Here's what you need to know about relatives. Success is relative. The more success you have, the more relatives you will have. Does that make sense? It's not like that in the beginning. They're going to give you a lot of guilt. But the minute your success starts to come, relatives are going to come out of the woodwork. Does that make sense? So understand, all the ones that are giving you a hard time now, the pendulum does swing back. Does that make sense? And you will have your day. Trust me. Okay? Pretty good. So you got to have this paradigm shift going. I'm not the same person. I don't think the same way. I'm not watching a bunch of TV. I'm reading books. I'm not listening to a whole bunch of crap. I'm reading books. I'm listening to the right things. Right? I'm reinventing myself. All these different languages that are going on. Right? Now, you look at that. You take a look at our company's story. Right? You take a look at what is WFG. Right? WFG really is a marketing company. That's all it is a marketing company. Why did Aegon, right? Because you got to understand the bigger picture, right? Why did Aegon purchase World Financial Group? What is World Financial Group? World Financial Group is a marketing company. It's like the Costco of the financial service industry, right? So the reason that Aegon purchased the rights of World Financial Group is because Aegon understands distribution. You guys follow me on that? Now, people may say to you, well, you know, I saw some stuff online, and is this a credible company? Or is this a multi-level? Is this a scam? Is this this? Is this that? Is this this? Is this that? Right? So part of you understanding what we do, who we are, right? We're extremely controversial in the marketplace. What we stand for is extremely controversial. When you are controversial, what does that mean? You don't stand for the status quo. When you are controversial, people are going to talk about you when you're controversial. Now, here's what you need to be okay with. You need to be okay with not being liked. Right? Part of being an entrepreneur is I no longer need your approval. Right? So you have to be okay with looking at yourself in the mirror and going, I like me. I no longer need you to like me because I like me. Follow me on that? In this world here, which is where 95% of the population lives, right? Everyone wants to be liked. That's why this circle of friends, right? This circle of association, no one really tells you what you need to hear. Why? Because everyone wants to be liked. This circle here, where it's uncomfortable, everybody already likes each other. So people are going to be brutally honest with you. They're going to call you to the coffee accountability. Because that's what makes them grow. Remember when you were going to school, what teacher did you remember? The teacher that you probably remember was the one that believed in you so much that was extremely tough on you. If you played sports, the coach that you remember was the one that was extremely tough on you because they believed in you. Right? So somehow, as we get older, we get away from that. So from a company standpoint, we're very controversial. Because the industry says, here's what the industry says. The financial service industry is a very biased industry. The industry says financial services is a professional industry. Right? It's a professional industry. So the industry says, hey, you got all these kind of people from all different walks of life. Some of them are part-time. What the hell do they know about financial services? You got a bunch of people that don't have degrees. They didn't go to college. They don't have a master's degree. They don't have a bachelor's degree. They don't have a degree in finance. And you need to tell me they're going to do my financials? The industry doesn't believe in that. If you have a challenge believing that, go to Merrill. Go do an interview for Merrill. See what they tell you. They have this test that you take. It's a psychological test. Based on the way you answer these questions, will tell you whether you will be successful in the industry or not. I would have never passed that test back in 1990. I could barely pass my life exam. I failed my life exam once. I failed my 6th twice. I failed my 6th degree twice. I failed my 26 3 times. Actually 4 times. I eventually got it. Does that make sense? What we believe, or financial group, we believe that there's not a test that can measure the heart of a man or woman. See the controversial in that? The industry says you got to look a certain way, you got to dress a certain way, you got to have a certain type of background, right? For example, Merrill Lynch, right? Merrill Lynch recruits. Let me tell you how they recruit. They go to Ivy League schools. Right? What's an Ivy League school? Right? You have Harvard, you have Princeton, you have all these schools. Why do they go to Harvard? Why do they go to Ivy League schools? They go to Ivy League schools so they can get the kids that have wealthy parents that can pay for their schools. That's who they recruit. So when they recruit these kids from Ivy League schools, guess what they want to use that recruit for to get in their market? Does that make sense? Then they go through their market, then they have no use for the kid anymore, and they blow it out. See that? Most companies do that. Right? So, you look at that, you look at Aegon, right? Transamerica, WFG, our platform, right? Why did Aegon buy? I mean, when they bought Transamerica, right? $11.2 billion, $9 billion cash, $2 billion in stock, right? They also owned an insurance company, which was called Western Reserve Life, which is now Transamerica Life. This marketing company, which was WMA at the time, it was called World Marketing Alliance. It was owned by a guy by the name of Hubert Humphrey that came up with the concept. And when he was doing it, he was building a company to sell it. There's a big difference between building a company to sell it and building a world-class company. So this company, WMA, you know, with insurance companies, the money is with the reinsurance. All right, so you got the insurance company, you have the shareholders, and the shareholders, they get a chance to share in the profits and the losses of the insurance company. You guys get me on that? Okay. So in 2000, the shareholders of Western Reserve Life, if the company did $30 million in premium that year, that's a huge profit for the shareholders. You guys follow me? This small company, the small marketing company, WMA, that year, listen to this, did $85 million in premium for this company called Western Reserve Life. So when Aegon sent their analysts to look at Transamerica, they said, who's this marketing company that just did $85 million? Like, our goal is to do $30 million. This one marketing company did $85 million. Who are these people? So they sent their analysts to go take a look at this marketing company called WMA. And they said, oh my God, these guys have found something. This is an unbelievable concept. This is the future. So Aegon went up to him and says, look, you guys got a great concept. The problem is you don't have enough money. You can't stay in this industry. The big boys, they're going to take you out of business because now you're a threat to the market share. So Aegon says, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop the bleeding for you. We want to buy you out. Well, Hubert was building the company to sell it. So it was his payday. So he sold the company to Aegon, and Aegon came in. They were very smart. Aegon says, look, we have no idea how you guys do what you do. We don't even want to begin to learn how you guys do what you do. We want to keep the leadership in force. We want you guys to keep doing what you're doing. The only thing we want to do is we want to throw a lot of money at this thing. So if money was not an issue, how big can you guys get this company? Right? So I was there for both. Right? Literally, when Aegon came into the picture, you guys, it was like going from a Volkswagen to a Rolls Royce overnight. I remember Ed said, I worked at WMA, right? You know how you guys now, you do a membership agreement, right? So back then, everything was paper and fax, right? And when you fill out a membership agreement, sign a new recruit, and then you fax it to the home office. And we used to say, the home office had a black hole. So every time you send something in, you better make sure you got a copy of it, because they lose half the stuff that you send. I remember my lead guy says, you guys, the future is coming. There's going to be a day when you're going to be able to sit with a new recruit. You're going to be able to fill out their membership agreement, paperless, online, and within 1 second of doing that application, you're going to have a code number. We're like, oh man, come on, dude. No way. There's no way that's going to, what? Are you kidding me? Like right then and there, there's no way. Aegon spent over $25 million getting that software. I remember when they announced it, I was like, oh my God, you mean to tell me all this stuff? So they kept enhancing. There was a time where there's WMA, we're WMA, says, what's WMA? Oh, we're a marketing alliance. Okay, what the hell is that? Oh, we're a marketing alliance. Who owns it? Oh, a guy by the name of Hubert Humphrey. Who the hell is that? I thought he was the president. Right? So we have no credibility. Right? So we, like, the objections that we would get, you guys, were like crazy. Because it was a privately held company. Now, all of a sudden, imagine, right? Imagine you growing up in the inner city. And every day you're fighting. Right? Every day you're fighting. You don't know whether you're going to win or not. Bully comes up, pushes you, and you got to fight. And all of a sudden, one day you wake up, they give you a big bodyguard to walk with you. And all of a sudden, the bully comes and goes, hey, before you get started, I want to introduce you to my bodyguard. When Aegon came in the picture, we now had a big money back. People say, hey, who are we? Great question. Have you ever heard of a company called Aegon? No, never have. Have you ever heard of a company called Transamerica? Oh yeah, I have. They're the company that bought Transamerica for $11.5 billion. Oh. that big money back. You follow me? Now the big companies that were trying to attack us, trying to put us out of business, they goes, hey, you guys want to play? We got a lot of money. See, before, when you're privately held, the way the big companies go after you is they can take you through the court system. Big bank takes little bank. They can get you caught up in court. You don't have enough money to fight. They goes, hey, you want to fight? We got a lot of money to fight. Let's go. We got the top attorneys in the world. Let's do it. Right? And all of a sudden, all this stuff goes away. So you follow me on that? Why is that important for you to know? It's important for you to know because the number one rule in business is to stay in business. Right? So you got to understand, we have a global presence. We have a global presence. You go in the UK, Aegon is a household name in the UK. It's a household name. Just like New Year's State Farm. Aegon, most people don't know, Aegon bought the insurance division of Merrill Lynch. Do you know how much, what they own? Right? Forbes magazine did an article where they talk about the top 10 biggest companies too big to fail. Aegon's one of them. So you can't be part of, you can't have that type of backing and knucklehead that works at Bob's Big Farm that makes $50,000 a year is telling you, well, this one of these legitimate things out there. Shut up. Does that make sense? You need to know what jersey you're wearing. This is not a game. Right? This is the real deal. Now what happens when you do that, you grow your conviction about what it is that you're doing. You get rid of the self-doubt. Right? Which makes you more certain. The Trans-American brand. Right? Pretty powerful brand. There's a lot of history in the Trans-American brand. Eventually you get your securities license. You're able to be part of the platform for Trans-America. All the affiliate companies. Think about this for a second, you guys. Why are all these companies nationwide? Right? Pacific Life, ING, all these companies, they beg us to be on our platform. I was telling someone the other day, you guys know Magic Johnson bought an insurance company down in Chicago. Right? They bought an insurance company. One of Magic's business partners is a friend of mine. We're both members of this club together. Right? When he bought the insurance company, I said to him, I said, hey, maybe we can get you guys on a platform. Right? Well, we got to take a look at the company. So when they looked at the company, that's a good company, but anytime you buy a company, their ratings drop. Right? So we went back to them and we said, we can't put you guys on our platform. Not yet. You guys got to get your rating up. Once you get your rating up, well, why would they want their company on our platform? Because we got 65,000 licensed agents. And growing. Distribution is key. You think about it. You think about it sometimes, right? People say stupid stuff. Tell you. So you sit across the kitchen table. Right? You build rapport. You got a quality introduction. You teach family how money works. You go over 3 tax boxes, tax down, tax deferred, tax exempt. Right? You show them all the different stuff. By the way, no one else is going to sit across the kitchen table and show them for free. Because the industry looks at it, the industry goes, I'm not going to do that. You think I'm going to do a financial needs analysis for a family for free? Absolutely not. That's like an attorney saying, you come to my office, I'm going to give you free advice. Why would they do that? You want my advice, you're going to pay me a retainer. I don't give free advice. The industry looks at it. The industry goes, look, if you want one of our advisors to come sit down with you, you got to write a check for $500 or $1,500. Because if you can't write a check for $500 or $1,500, you probably don't have any money saved in investment. They don't want to sit down with you. So when you sit down with a family, you guys, you think they're doing you a favor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to sit down with you. Do you understand you're the only one that's going to ever get a chance to sit down with them and educate doing them a favor. They're doing you a favor. You're actually doing them a favor. Because ain't no one else. Who's going to sit down with them? They got a 401k at their job that they have no idea how it works. They bought a house, if they bought a house. They have no idea the paperwork that they signed. They go to the bank, right? Listen, you guys. Do you think the bank is designed to show you how to make money? No. The less you know, the better it is for them. They call the Rule 72 the banker's rule. Really? Think about it. When was the last time when I was making $2,800 a month, you don't have a freaking banker. You got a teller. Right? The teller just tells you what the hell to do. You follow me on that? They call the Rule 72 the accountant's rule. Do you have an accountant when you're middle class? No, you got TurboTax. You got do-it-yourself. They even I was watching an advertisement the other day. Why would you pay an accountant $50 to do your taxes when you could do it yourself? That's what they tell the middle class. Right? So the middle class don't have information. That's like me operating on myself. It's ridiculous. Right? So what we said, look, there's a big void in the marketplace. People need financial education. We're going to take a controversial approach. We're going to provide that information for free. We're going to educate families. And when we told all the biggest companies, we said, look, here's the deal. We flipped the script on them. We said, here's the deal. We know you guys are not interested in the middle class markets. You know Pacific Life, right? Do you know the average client puts $4,000 to $5,000 a month in those policies? You know Pacific Life don't deal with like $100, $200, $300 hours. It's not the market. We're the only company that does it. You realize that? So we went to companies like that, and we said, look, we know your market's the top 2%. But what about if we had a system that can bring the 80% of the population to your front doors? And if we can bring the 80% of the population to your front doors, can we utilize your products? Got their attention. They said, wait a minute, you're going to bring us the 80% in bulk? Yeah. When you see our product line and you see like the product providers, the silver, platinum providers, they have to write a big check to be on that brochure. You understand that, right? They're not on that brochure for free. And then we said, look, our licensed agents, they don't represent you. Why do you think they're all in our offices? Hey, let's do a lunch and learn. I want to get to know you. I want to take you out to dinner. Let me show you why our products is better and all of that stuff. Why do you think they do that? They want you to sell their products. See how that works? Now, think about it from a common sense standpoint. Pacific Life is a big company. Nationwide is a big company. Void is a big company. Right? All these are big companies. Transparent, all of them. Right? Do you think those companies have a lot of money? Do you think brand recognition is very important? Why would they have any affiliation with someone, with something that would bring the credibility of their company down? So if those companies, with all the money that they have, are paying us to be on their shelf, right? When your new recruit says to you, hey, I want to do my research, shut the hell up. What research are you going to do? Freaking broke. People say stupid stuff. And then you sit there like a dum-dum. Oh, okay, call me back after you do your research. You follow me? Stop that. right? You need to be a little certain about what it is that you do. So if I like me, right, if I like me, I don't need you to like me. You say something stupid, I'm going to tell you said something stupid. Well, I don't really like the way you talk. Cool. Somebody needs to tell me. Does that make sense? Why? Because I'm looking for people looking for me. I'm not here to beg you. You understand that? So when I was making $2,700, $2,800 a month, I was broke. I was living payday to payday. I was skeptical. I was broke. All of that stuff. I'm so glad that my mentor says, if you want to change what you're getting, you better change what you're doing. I'm not here for you to like me. But eventually, you'll hate me all the way to the bank. Does that make sense? Now, you don't have to be condescending. You don't have to talk down to people. You don't have to disrespect people. That's not what I'm saying. You just need to know the language to help people understand what we're showing you. Does that make sense? So you got to be able to connect with them. I know exactly how you feel. I had somebody tell me the other day. I break down everything, I break down the IUL, and they said, oh my God, this sounds too good to be true. I said, man, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way the first time I saw that. But then as I started paying attention, the very companies that advertise to us all the time, we know all their little lies. Nationwide is on their side, you know, all of them. They have these products. And I can't believe they have these products. I know their names, but no one has ever shown me these products. And what I found over a period of time, they're really after the top 2%. They overlook the financial service. They overlook the middle class families. This is not something overnight. This is something that's been around for a long time. So you have to be able to connect with people. Does that make sense? You have to be able to connect with them and articulate where they get it. Cool? Pretty cool stuff. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at, you want to have your time, you want to make money, you got to know the rules of the game. Right? So there's 4 legal ways for you to produce income. I know some of you got, Dan, down at the block. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 4 legal ways to produce an income. Right? So you look at employee and self-employed, 95% of the population lives on that side. That side thinks different. Employee, you have a job, you're exchanging your time for money. 5% of the wealth is on this side. 95% of the population is on this side. Self-employed, you went from having a job, now you own a job. That makes sense? You're doing real estate, 100% of your income comes from you. You sell insurance, 100% of your income comes from you. You're a doctor, 100% of your income comes from you. You follow me? So if 100% of your income comes from you, you're limited. You only got 24 hours in a day. You're an attorney, you're not representing a client, you don't make any money. Why do you want to be an SMD? Why do you want to be a broker? See, because the WFG platform first of all, allows you to be an employee. You can have a job here. But while you have a job, you're learning how to become self-employed, which means that you now have your license and you're able to help families and make money. But at the same time, you have the business platform that allows you to become a business owner. Now you're an SMD, you got 20, 30, 40, 50 licensed agents. Well, if I got 10 licensed agents now that can produce a result across the kitchen table, I went from having 24 hours to 240 hours. I go from 10 license agents to 100 license agents. Now I have 2,400 hours in a day. Follow me on that? Well, you're in the money business. You learn what to do with your money. So now you start investing, right? You're saving 10% of your income. You grow that. What would it be like if you could put away $5 grand a month? You could put away 10 grand a month. You could put away $20,000 a month. Now you got a pool of money saved, and the return of that money gives you your lifestyle. So imagine having a business that's producing cash flow, then you have your investments that are producing cash flow. What's your game plan to go from employee, self-employed business owner and investor? The WFG platform allows you to do that. Why would I do it here? Why would I do it somewhere else? Well, if I want to go buy McDonald's, right? There's a movie coming out about McDonald's, so I rate the car. Right? If I want to go out to McDonald's, if I want to be a business owner, and I want to go buy a franchise, pull it up online. Pull it up online. See what the requirements are. See if you fit the requirements. Let's say you want to go buy a Subway. Pull it up. See if you fit the requirements. See if you got a couple $100,000 saved. You got good credit. If credit was an issue in WFG, 98% of us wouldn't be here. Just on the credit tip. You follow me on that? The way you build your credit is making a lot of money. That's the best credit. Follow me on that? So, these franchises are designed for people that already have money. And I designed for the average American. Follow me on that? So when I say this is your shot at the big time, it's your shot at the big time because it allows you to do something. It gives you a platform that you would have nowhere else to do. Right? So when you look at that, you look at employee, 95% of the population, you know what you're going to get paid monthly. You feel secure. You got your benefits, health, 401k, etc. Con, time demands, asking for permission for time off when needed. Right? Promotions not available or often unfair. Commute time increasing. Sometimes I forget because I'm very rarely in traffic. Almost never in traffic. So sometimes when I gotta go somewhere and I'm in traffic, I'm going, where are all these people going? See, the entrepreneurs, like when you get stuck in traffic, you go bumper, and on the other side, it's moving, those are the entrepreneurs. Do you know that people drive from Riverside all the way to Los Angeles every day for $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year? Can you imagine the amount of stress? You got to get up like 4:30 in the morning, fight 2 hours of traffic to finally get to work. Then you spend 7, 8 hours at your job. Then you got to fight back that traffic for 2, 3 hours to get home. Who wants to do that? I did that for years. Right? Business owner defines what you are worth. See, when you have a job, somebody tells you what you're worth. I had a lady in Beverly Hills office, right? She's an attorney. And she got offered this job with $75,000 a year. So she came up to me, she said, "Dan, I got offered this job with $75,000 a year." I said, "Well, that's pretty cool." I said, "Let me ask you a question," because she wanted to talk it through with me. I said, "Well, how many hours are you going to have to work?" She said, I have to work 70 hours a week." I said, "Wow, 70. I said, "Okay. So that's 280 hours a month." Okay, so let's figure out what $75,000 is after taxes. So $6,000 a month is $72,000. So let's say $6,500. So let's say you're bringing home $5,500 a month. So divide 5,500 by 270 hours. And it ended up being just a little bit more over minimum wage. And I said to her, I said, take the job if you believe that's what you're worth. If you believe $15 an hour is what you're worth, then take the job, because it's for you. I don't believe I'm worth $1,500 an hour. You could never give me that job. But I can create a job for you and pay you $50,000 a year, and you'd be freaking excited and fired up because you believe you're worth that. See the difference? Right? So you're either work to build someone else's business because you believe you can't build your own business. See the difference? We teach you different here. Increase, no beating inflation, benefits decreasing, blah, blah, blah. Self-employed, 3% of the population, control of your time, control of your pay, ownership of your job. 100% of your income is based off your own effort. No given benefits, health, retirement. If you get sick, you don't get paid. Liability, if anything goes wrong, solely on your shoulders. Right? Business ownership, 1% of the population. Ability to create wealth, make money whether you're working or not. Tax advantage by running your income through your company. Full control of your time and pay. Employees and personalities, everything relies on your ability to keep the company solvent. Others rely on your writing a check every month. Liabilities is on your shoulder. Right? Which is different in WFG. Because in WFG, you got the backing of AGO. Does that make sense? You got a big money back. So you think about this for a second, right? I have 3,500 licensed agents in my organization. Right? Can you imagine if that was 3,500 employees? Can you imagine if I had to write all those checks? Our team payroll on a monthly basis is $1.5 million a month. Can you imagine if I had to write all those checks? Imagine you calling me, Tiana, you give me a check, you should give me a check. Can you imagine how much of a headache that was? Can you imagine the taxes on that? Can you imagine all of that stuff? I got to track all of that stuff. Imagine if I had to do all of that. Or one of you guys do something stupid out there, next thing you know, some client is suing me. Can you imagine if I had to do all of that? Can you imagine if I had to do all the brochures, the print of all the brochures and all of that stuff? Can you imagine if I had to say, get someone to design a website? Maybe you recruit someone, say, I recruited this person, and what's the override on this person? And I have to figure that out. Oh, you're over sales, so you override what? And I have to figure all that stuff out. I wouldn't have a life. So AGO comes in and goes, hey, you don't have to worry about all of that. All we want you to do is focus on building a business. We'll create the back office support system that handles all of that. What is that worth? Follow me? Some agent in Texas can write a sale, it gets paid, and everyone in the grid gets paid. I don't even have to think about it. All of that. So when people say to you, well, Dan, if AGO is so big and you guys are so big, why I got to pay $100? Why do they say that? Because they're employees. Follow me? They're not entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs, they say something different. When I sit down with an entrepreneur and say, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You need to tell me for $100 and I get a license and I can literally make millions of dollars. I don't have any of the headache. They go, oh my God. I had a guy tell me the other day, he's like, hey, man, you should diversify in real estate and buy a building. I go, for what? He goes, what do you mean everybody? I said, no, not everybody. And he goes, well, I said, okay, let's talk that for. How much would it cost me to buy a building? $3 million. Okay, come up with $3 million. So after everyone's house, whatever, what's the profit on that? What's the net profit that I get? It's 6, 7 grand a month. I said, I'm going to show you something else. I can recruit someone. I can train them. And we have this thing called an override. Jay Jr., Jay and Veronica, right? They have their own office in San Dimas. I'm not on their lease. It's their lease. They run their team. They do their full-timers meeting. They do their Tuesday night BPMs. They do their Saturday BPMs. They field train. They lead their teams. They're totally independent. And I override their organization 17.5. I talk to Jay maybe once a week for maybe about 10 minutes. After time, he can't get over. How many of those guys you want out? I didn't have to come up with a couple of $1 million to buy Jay. Right? All I had to do was recruit him and sell him a drink. Him and his wife. See that pretty cool? So I want to develop more SMDs. It's equivalent of Jay and Veronica, their office in San Dimas is one McDonald's. Does that make sense? Operates Jay and Veronica self-motivated. Right? I don't have to call him in the morning and say, hey man, are you fired up? No, he's self-motivated. Right? He's self-financing. He doesn't call me and say, hey, I'm behind on my rent, can you just spot me $100? No. He's self-financed. Right? And he's duplicatable. So how many of those people do you want to have? How many of those offices you want to have? Right? So first you must become that person. You must become an SMD. Not just the title, but you have the business. So if you look at Jay and Veronica, they have a business. They got 50, 60, 70, 80 people coming to meetings. They've got close to 100 licensed agents in their base shops. Right? Doing close to $600,000 a year in premium. They get a couple of $100,000 a year. And how old are you, Jay? I think 26, 28? 26! 10 years from now, he's 36. You imagine that? 2 years, he'll be at $1 million a year. So I can call Jay and Veronica right now. They're like, I go, look, you guys. I think you guys are losers. I think you guys should quit. And I don't like you guys. No matter what I say to them or to them, there's nothing I can say to them to stop their progress. Because they're making $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 a month. Jay looks at it like, oh, no, you don't need it. Who cares? And they look at their account, they go, yeah, who cares? Follow me on that? Now you can't do that to your newbie. Does that make sense? So imagine 5 years from now, you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 McDonald's out there that are totally independent of you. Pretty cool, huh? That's how you become a business owner here, right? Which is pretty cool, right? Now you take a look at this, right? This is, I don't know if I ever showed you guys this. This is me when I was in charge of the Marine Corps Solid team. This is a halftime show from Notre Dame. This is we did a show with the Blue Angels. Remember the Blue Angels? Right? This show from Blue Angels. See how cool all that stuff looks? Ain't that cool? Look at the uniform. Isn't that cool? It's pretty sharp, huh? $2,700 a month. But it looks cool, doesn't it? Man, that looks cool, right? That looks cool. $2,700 a month. Look at this, though. Look at this, right? Choices, right? This is the military pay chart, right? So if I would have stayed in, this year would have been my 30th year. Look at that. $7,114 a month. After 30 years. If I would have retired, I would have got half of that, 50% of that. So my buddies, back in '99, when I was getting ready to get out, that told me, because they were thinking in this year, right? They told me I was crazy, you stupid, why would you get out, da da da, why you listen to these people, they're brainwashing you, you're drinking the juice, da 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 da. Right? Then over here, I'm hearing this kind of conversation. Right? And then now, yeah, I'm starting to get brainwashed because I'm thinking different. I'm thinking of as an entrepreneur now. And I start going, you know what? I'm worth more than $7,000 a month. Why can't I make $7,000 a cycle? Get paid 8 times a month. Matter of fact, if I made less than five figures on one cycle, I'm not very happy. Because you figure 5 figures a cycle, we get 8 cycles, that's only 80 grand in a month. Follow me on that? It's only 80. Right? But there was a time, you guys think I'm kidding, I'm dead serious. I think you guys know I'm serious. You follow me? But there was a time where, now, if I'm making $7,000 a month after 30 years, when people say stupid stuff, they go, who freaking cares? I could live in the Marine Corps for 30 years. That's the most that I could have made. You understand that? And it's a job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I come in early, I stay late, I give it all I have, and all of this stuff. Isn't it interesting, right? In the job world, right? You can do a gazillion of things right. But your boss always finds the one thing you did good. Ain't that crazy? You work all day long, and the minute you sit down, take 1 second, you're like, oh, you're working hard, huh? Jeez, I've been on my feet all freaking day. The 1 second, isn't that crazy? It's such a negative environment, you follow me? It's very different than WFG. WFG, we're constantly finding ways to motivate and inspire you and lift you up and all this stuff. And you go over here, it's like a whole different world. Right? Pretty cool. My buddies that stayed in, they retired. The story is shifting. Story is shifting. So now when I talk to my buddy, I go, I wasn't that stupid after all, was I? Yeah, rub it in a little bit. They were rubbing it on you back then. The pendulum shifts both ways. Right? Pretty cool. Right? Now, most people don't know what to look for. Most people don't know what to look for when they're starting a business. Right? So the first thing that you got to look for is there a dramatic market need? Why is this important? This is important for you to know because you must sell yourself before you try to sell someone else. You got to sell yourself first. It's like Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the things he says is that you must seek first to understand before trying to be understood. You got to sell yourself first. You can't have a conversation with me and make a case to me on why WFG Opportunity is not the #1 platform. Because I sold myself. Because I'm constantly comparing other businesses. Matter of fact, the other day, I got a couple of buddies that's in the music business. We were at the club having a cigar, and they were talking about some of the stuff that they deal with. And I said to them, I said, you know what, I really appreciate you guys. And these are prominent guys in the music business. I said, dude, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate our friendship. They go, why? I said, because every time I'm around you guys make me so grateful for my business. Because I don't have to deal with half of the crap that they have to deal with. I said, are you serious? Really? You got to deal with that? Oh my God. I said, man, our world is beautiful. Right? So you got dramatic market need. There's a huge need in the marketplace for what we do. A huge need. Financial education. It's a big market. The 80% of the population, geez Louise. Right? System, you got a system. What's that? Personality driven. Right? People learn to run the system runs your business. Right? You got powerful comp. Whether you want to make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $1 million a month. Man, I dream about $1 million a month. I remember when I used to dream of 10,000 a month. Then I remember when I used to dream of 30 grand a month. Then I remember I used to dream of 100. It's like, what? What? 100 grand a month? I used to dream about that. Now it's like, okay, this is a normal month. I don't even want to talk about what I make. Isn't that crazy how that changes? Isn't that crazy? Like I was thinking, I was doing a comp the other day, and I was trying to like sound excited. I was like, well, if you know, 5 families, we team up like we're at 20,000, and in my mind, I'm going like, that's what I was trying to sound excited, but I just could not get excited. I just felt like, oh, can I just tell you guys the truth? Ain't that funny how that changes? The same thing will change for you if you apply it. Your dreams will come true. It's not a fact. This is the deal. That's why I have to show you those pictures. Because you think like, oh, Dan came in and made an executive by Sherman. They put him on a payroll, $1 million. No! Came in just like you. Sat in the same chairs at the same desk. Does that make sense? And I kept believing. Right? And I feel like we just got started. Does that make sense? Great economic timing. I hear people say, no, I'm going to go get my real estate license. Get my mortgage broker's license. For what? I'm going back to school to get a degree. Really? Well, I've been applying for a job. Good luck. You follow? You gotta have good economic timing. Does that make sense? That's like jumping in the pool, there's no water in there. You didn't even look. Pool. You didn't even look. That's like good timing. You follow me? It sounds silly, but people, like these little things, people don't think. Like if I wanted a mortgage business in 2005, that was great timing. Real estate, 2004, 2000, great timing. I went into the equity markets in 1999, great timing. Follow me on that? Strong core values. Number one rule of business is to stay in business, right? Very important, right? Then you understand how things move. You gotta understand how things move. You want to make a lot of money, you need to get yourself between the money. There's a huge wealth transfer that's going on now. A huge wealth transfer. So you look at the baby boomers, you look at Generation X, 112 million people, 41% of the population. The financial service industry is shrinking, right? Average age is 55. There's a huge gap of 200,000 shortfalls. So now you got a new vision. You say, you know what? In the next 5 years, I'm going to have 1,000 license agents. I'm going to have 500 license agents. I'm going to have 100 license agents. And I'll platform. Right? It's pretty cool. You guys getting bored or you guys good? Okay. The power of our industry. One of the oldest industries. It's measured in trillions of dollars. Commissions 10 billions annual. Does well in good times or bad times. Doesn't matter. The market's up, business is up. The market's down, business is up. Pretty good. Some people say, hey, how you doing? I'm doing awesome. They're like, damn, Charlie, you never tell us you. Like, excuse me, I'm doing awesome. I ain't gotta be doing bad because you do bad. You follow me on that? People get mad at you because you're always fired up. I don't really like what happened in the election in Trump. I go, dude, worry about what's going on in your house. Does that make sense? Focus on your house. If everybody focused on their house, we would have less challenges. You think I'm waiting for the government to come take care of me? Really? No, I'm not waiting for that. I'm not saying that you can't have a political opinion and all that. I'm not saying that. I get that. Right? But you know what? Whether Bush is in there, Clinton's in there, Trump's in there, Obama's in there, regardless of who was in there, my life kind of stayed the same. My bottom line still stayed my bottom line. I drove the cars I wanted to drive. I lived in the neighborhoods I wanted to live in. I traveled all around the world. I kind of did the things that I wanted to do because I wasn't waiting for society to take care of me. Right? Produce quality and design superbs. Market needs, the market need is overwhelming. Traditional distribution of family has declined. Tell you a story. A good friend of mine, well, I wouldn't say he's a good friend of mine. He's a guy that I know, right? I don't know why I say good friend of mine. He's not a good friend of mine. That's a lie. It's not. I don't even know why I said that. But anyway, it's Jessica Simpson's dad, Joe Simpson, right? So we're at the club, we're at the Grand Battle, we're smoking a cigar. And Joe says to me, he says, Shorty, he said, do you know the difference between a rock star and a singer? I said, Joe, no, I don't know. What the hell's the difference between a rock star and a singer? And he's like, well, have you ever been to Vegas and you've been to one of the lounges and you see some guy singing or some lady singing, they have this beautiful voice, and you ask yourself, wow, they have such a beautiful voice, how come they're not like they sound just like Mariah Carey, they sound just like the other, how come they're not doing this? I said, actually, yeah, I've heard some people sing, I've thought that. And then he said, but then if you ever gone to a concert and you see a Beyonce, you see a Mariah, you see like Michael Jackson, you're like, damn, right? He says, the singer is repeating words that they've heard. The rock star actually believes it. How does that translate into business? So, my second year in business, I go on this thing, I'm done recruiting. Because I had a bunch of people quit, I'm not recruiting anymore. I'm just going to write. Right? So my leg calls me, he's like, dude, why you stop recruiting? I was like, well, I don't really want to recruit, I had this conversation. Right? He said, set up a couple of appointments. I want to do a couple of appointments with you. Right? So I set up an appointment with these two RVPs from Primerica. It's right off the 57th and Imperial, right there at the Lucille's walking. So we go on this recruiting appointment. And my left doesn't there's the appointment. And he recruits both people. Both guys he recruits. So we get back in the car, and we're on our way back to Pomona. Our office was in Pomona. So we're on our way back to Pomona. And my left says to me, he says, hey man, what did you learn? I said, wow, there's nothing you said that I didn't know. Like literally everything he said I knew. He says, you know the difference between me and you, man? I says, what? He says, you're repeating what you heard me say, but you don't believe what you heard me say. When I talk, I actually believe it. You're just doing a presentation. You don't believe it. You're not sold out on this thing. You don't really believe that this thing can change someone's life, although it changed your life. It says you got to raise your belief on the opportunity. Because once you really must believe that this can change someone's life, if they're willing to do what it takes. Right? So from then on, I had to work on my belief. I had to raise my belief about the opportunity. I had to raise my belief on what we do for the consumer across the kitchen table. I remember a defining moment. Right? I go out field training. I go out across the kitchen table, put a policy together for the husband and wife. Husband, wife, both of them are insured. They've got 2 kids. Owns a bunch of real estate. This is right around 2005. Has all these homes, flipping properties, making all this money flipping properties. Right? The husband's trying to make a case to me. He said, oh, I got a plan. I only own these properties. If something ever happens to me, my wife's going to get a couple $1 million. We're going to sell all this stuff. I remember thinking, looking at the kids, going, man, if something happens to this guy right now, he doesn't have any cash. Properties can go up, down. So I went back and forth with them, and they both bought a policy. He bought a policy for him for like $1 million. His wife bought a policy for her for like $500,000. Then I recruited him in WFG. They got in WFG, they were part of the team, recruited a couple of people underneath them. They kind of petered out down the road, right? And about 4 years later, we do this contest where we have this private jet. Right? We take this private jet from Ontario. We fly out, take a couple of teammates. I think Natalie was in there with us. Natalie and Ryan was in there with us, a couple other teammates. Aegon owns these 2 penthouses in San Francisco. Fly out there, we got about 8 of our teammates with us, we go out to dinner, all of this stuff, and it's like a 4-bedroom apartment, big apartment on top of it. All right, so we're having a good time. Saturday morning, team's making breakfast, we're all talking, my phone rings. At 8 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings. And the wife is on the phone, she's crying over the phone. She's like, Dan, oh my God, I need your help, Her husband was on the 60 freeway on his way to work. He was driving a Toyota 4Runner, got into a head accident, the car flipped, crushed him, and killed him instantly. Right? And I'm on the phone, she's telling me this. And it's been like 4 or 5 years since I wrote the policy. I can't remember. I couldn't remember. They were still crying. I just couldn't remember. I said, well, hold on. Give me a few minutes. Let me call the office because I know my assistant's there because they're doing DPM. So I call my assistant, Jessica. I have her pull up their policies. Both their policies were still in effect. So I'm talking to her. So I called her back and said, Dolores, I know there's nothing that we can do to bring your husband back. And I know that's something that you have to deal with, but from a financial standpoint, remember the policy I put in force with you, right? You guys are going to get a check for about $1.2 million. Okay, I'm going to work with you to get you that and all this stuff. Oh my God, you guys. Like I remember like helping her get the death driving down the riverside, going over her house, sitting on her couch, and delivering that check to her, and then showing her what to do with that money so she could leave a legacy, right? And this was probably 10 years ago, right? She's never had to work another day, the way we set it up. She now lives in Vegas. I talk to her all the time, right? She now lives in Vegas. She's very active in her church. Her daughter is a big basketball player. The WNBA is looking at her now. She travels all around with her kids because they're both in sports. She's never had to work another day. Her husband could never bring back her husband. But financially, she was taking care of it because of what we did, the conversation that we had. Right? So, when that happened, it shifted my belief about what we do for families across the kitchen table. We make a major difference. God forbid if something happens, we're the only one that shows up with a check. You understand that? Something doesn't even have to happen. Because insurance is so powerful. If you live, we pay. If you die, we pay. You get sick, we pay. Covers all three. So you got to get that in your heart. Right? You want to grow that belief. Right? And as far as the opportunity, don't spend all your time looking at the people that are not winning. What do you focus on? I want to look at all the stories of all the people winning. That's like me going to the gym, right? Different context. Me going to the gym, and I look at all the guys that are out of shape. I go, man, this gym thing doesn't work. He's out of shape. He's out of shape. He's out of shape. He's out of shape. You guys do that in your business. And you got 5 guys that are in shape. You're, I'm not going to talk to these guys. What are you doing over here? Nothing? Oh, really? Maybe I should do nothing. You do that in your business. It's the craziest thing. That makes sense? So you got to grow those two. You got to grow those two beliefs, which is really powerful. Right? Now, remember I told you we're extremely controversial. Right? Traditional industry versus non-traditional industry. So I'm on a recruiting point. Right? So I told the team, this is in Beverly Hills, I told the team, if someone ever tries to recruit you, and they tell you a good story and it sounds good, and you're impressed by it, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell them, that sounds really good. Let me schedule an appointment with my mentor, and if you can convince my mentor that this is a better opportunity, he has over 3,000 licensed agents, he will come over and his entire team will come. So she did that. Booked the appointment. Actually, it was he did that. Booked the appointment. Guy comes over to the club. Real sharp, blue suit, traditional industry pro. Very professional, tie, the whole thing. Briefcase, like traditional industry. Alright? And he comes over to the club. And he says, we start to talk. And he says to me, first thing he says to me, he says, you seem pretty smart. Why? Listen to this. You seem pretty smart. Why would you be with a company like WFG? And inside I go, oh my God, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I said, really? I said, why do you say that? He says, tell me a little bit about your firm. He says, well, we're on Wilshire Boulevard, we're on the top floor, we've been around since so and we deal with family offices, we represent some of the biggest families in Beverly Hills, and blah, 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 blah. He's talking about stuff. Our offices are beautiful, and we have, oak and this and that, and paintings, and it's a presence for Beverly hills are supposed to be. I said, oh, wow, wow. I said, so how do you understand WFG? He says, well, it's unprofessional, you guys have these meetings, and there's people from all over, they have no backings, and the financial, they have no degrees, and you guys just sit down with anyone and all of this stuff. I said, wow. I said, okay. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, have you ever been to the zoo? He says, yeah. I said, have you ever gone to an African safari? He said, no. I said, oh my God, I got to tell you this story. I said, my wife and I just came back from an African safari. And we're following this pack of lions. Right? So we're following this pack of lions all day long. And there's these little cubs, right? Little cubs around. The lions are all in the bush because they don't want to give their positions away. They're watching the planes. All day long, they're watching the planes. So the little cubs are trying to run out, and the mother lion is like pushing them back. I said, pushing them back. So she finally gets tired of pushing them back. And she stands up. She walks out in the middle of the plains, literally for miles. For miles. Every single animal in the plane stopped moving. And everyone was looking at the lion. And so we're sitting in the Land Rover, I'm talking to my buddy, I was like, dude, you looking at this? And he's like, yeah. I said, dude, you know what he's doing, right? He's like, what? What is he doing? He just walked out. I said, no. I said, he's showing the cubs that she's the king of the jungle. Like literally, no animals are moving. I'm like, dude, this is, my buddy's like, dude, you always got to turn this shit around. Right? And I'm like, yeah, that's what he's doing, right? So like literally every animal's thing, like he's showing the cubs, like, look, we're hiding here, right? We're hiding here, we can't give our position away. Because the lions, they hunt when the moon goes down. When the moon goes down, it's game time. All right, they're in the hunt. We did a night and it was awesome, right? So I'm telling him this, right? And he's listening. He's like, oh my God, that's cool, right? This is the recruiting point. It's like, that's cool. And then I said, a couple of years ago, I took my kids to the zoo. And I saw a lion in a cage. And that lion in the cage looked totally different than the lion that I saw in the safari. His eyes look different. That lion in the cage, when he was young, they put him in a cage. He didn't even realize it was a lion. He pooped, they clean it up. He gets hungry, they feed him. People come around and say, hey, hi, Mr. Lion. How are you? Say, kids like do this, like a big cat, right? And that lion never had an opportunity to realize he was a lion. I said, can you imagine if I take that lion out of the cage and I put him in Africa and let him meet a real lion? You ever seen an alley cat meet, like, your cat in your house that sleeps in bed with you? That's two totally different things, ain't it? Right? So the guy goes to me, I don't get where you're going. What's the point of your story? I said, well, what time do you have to be at work? And what time do they let you on? I said, see, WFG is not built for people like you. WFG is built for entrepreneurs. All that stuff you're talking, you're in the cage. When you have the guts to come out the cage, come see me. Why? If you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. You don't back down. Don't back down. For what? We're a great company. We do great things in the marketplace. We have unbelievable leaders here. This is an incredible opportunity. Don't you let anybody talk to you about the jersey you wear. Follow me? Oh, you know, I saw something on the internet about your company. Well, I saw something about your mother. What are you talking about? Somebody say, no, I'm kidding. Kidding. Don't say that. Guys, follow me? I'm just giving you, you need to get a little intense. Does that make sense? Get a little intense. Traditional industry versus non-traditional. We're not traditional. We're controversial. People are going to talk about us. Get used to it. Learn how to talk back. Does that make sense? So that's called overcoming objections. You have to help people understand our culture. Does that make sense? When they say those things to you, don't take it personal. They throw a blow at you, dance with them. Does that make sense? So that's why you must learn the language of the business. But don't be a pansy. Go back to the, well, you know, I was in the field today and they said this and I don't really understand. Is this really for real? But shut up. You follow me on that? You got to know the jersey you're wearing. Pretty cool, right? You guys getting some stuff from that? Now, we study both industries. We study both industries. We study the recruiting organizations, right? The multi-level marketing companies. What are the advantages of the multi-level marketing companies? You ever see these multi-level marketing companies? They have thousands of people, everyone's fine. Like, you ever ran into someone in Amway? They're like, man, oh my God, this changed my life, blah, blah, blah. Dude, how much money you make? Well, I haven't made money yet, but money stays not about the money, blah, blah, blah. And they're all fired up. You go, how the hell do they recruit 100,000 people, everyone fired up, no one's making any money? You ever ask yourself that? Like Trump and Kiyosaki wrote a book years ago called We Want You to Be Rich, right? Towards the back of the book. They asked him, what's your take on multi-level marketing? I think Trump had the best answer. He said, if you're going to do multi-level marketing, right? One, you got to be good with people. Two, you must understand profit margins. And he says to the crowd, he says, you guys know how Trump is, right? He says to the crowd, he said, if I was going to start another business, I started a multi-level marketing company. Everybody in the crowd started laughing. He said, that's why all you guys got jobs. You understand that? He's not afraid of being controversial. Doesn't really care whether you like it or not. Entrepreneurs think that way, right? So we looked at the traditional industry, and we said the challenge with the traditional model is a dated model. Right? You go to your financial firms, real estate, mortgages, insurance. How do they get in the marketplace? They're knocking on doors. They're doing cold calls. They're sending out flyers. They're buying leads. That's an old concept that no longer works. It's not even relevant anymore. Then you take a look at the recruiting organizations. The recruiting organization is reversed. They got great systems. You joined Amway this morning. Tonight, you got 50 people in your family in your living room, and they're all buying a whole bunch of crap. The next thing you know, the people out of there, before you work, the 500 people you know, has got a whole bunch of garage full of Amway. How the hell does that happen? And nobody made any money. They got great systems to get in markets. So what we did is we said, what if we combine, right, the best of the recruiting organization, which is their systems, then we took the best of the financial companies, which is the financial products that have huge profit margins, and we created a hybrid model. So we have the best of both worlds. You follow me on that? So once you understand that, you're able to articulate it in a way where you can talk diversified from the business owner, right, to the guy that's self-employed, right, the guy that just recruited guy, makes over $1 million a year, right, and he's in the solar business. It's the conversation we had. I go, and I said to him, I said, Sergio, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, can you recruit a guy like me to go do solar? He said, I couldn't keep a guy like you. I go, what? He goes, you're too damn smart. Because if I recruit you, I teach you the business, I would give you 60 days before you leave and go start your own thing. I go, exactly. Right? So his business, right, he cannot keep his best guys, because his best guys are going to leave him. And then also his business, if he don't sell a solar, he don't make any money. And he has no residual income. So if he makes $100,000 this month, he sold a lot of stuff. Next month, he's got to go do it all over again. I said, how long is that going to last before you get burned out? He's got 2 kids. He hasn't been on a family vacation for 7 years. Somebody's saying, oh, when was the last time you went? You're saying like, oh, really? Ask yourself that question. Oh, we went through this and that last week. That's not what I'm talking about. Pretty cool stuff, right? You can utilize that, right? You got personal production, we talked about that. Override, you got residual income, we talked about that. Traveling all around the world, meet a bunch of different types of people and private jets, all of that stuff, right? Cool stuff. Fun stuff, right? Oh, see that picture right there? To the right? So we're in Africa, right? And we go horseback riding. And we get caught between the giraffe, mother and father and their kids, and we're all galloping to Africa. That's cool stuff. That's a big bay shop stuff. So you got big bay shopping. Follow me on that? That's us private jet going to Aspen. Look at this right here. It's just us watching. I don't know what we were watching, but we're in Paris somewhere. You build a big bay shop, you can do that. Right? That picture right there is us like we're in the Maldives on a private island, having dinner on a private island. Right? You build a big bay shop, you can do that stuff. Build a business, you can do that. Because no matter where you're at around the world, your business continues to grow. Right? Cool stuff, which is fun. Right? Back in the Vagon. We talked about that. Right? The assets. Put it in perspective. Put that in perspective. See, why do I keep showing you this stuff? Right? Because if you can grow your belief about what it is that you're doing, you feel strong about that, and you get sold out on that, and you're able to articulate it, what's going to stop you from building a business? Nothing's going to stop you from building a business. Right? The financial needs analysis, what we do for consumers across the kitchen table. We're going to have the best show you how to do that. But I think one of the biggest things with the financial needs analysis is step 1. Step 1. See, a lot of us in here, you become product peddlers. You're just trying to close a policy, you're trying to make a sale. See, when Ed Marlette sat down with me, and he showed me, you know, how to pay myself first, 10% of my income, insurance, emergency account, all that stuff, which was cool. But that's not what changed my life. What changed my life is when he had a conversation with me about step 1. He said, Chaudier, you're making $2,700 a month. What about if I can show you how to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month part-time? That got me excited. Now you take LA County. LA County has 9.8 million people. The average median income is $56,000 a year. So now you can give average American people an opportunity to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 a month on a part-time basis. So if you can help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. See, all of these things that I'm talking about, and you're going to learn about the next 4 months, grow your identity about, is the conversations you're going to be having to build a company. You can't go out there and build a company with weak beliefs about the opportunity. You can't go build a company with weak beliefs about what we do for families across the kitchen table. You're going to have to strengthen that. Make sense? Which is pretty cool. We're going to help you with that. A unique business platform. You guys, you know how many times, so when you get your insurance license, you're going to get people trying to recruit you. Right? So my bookkeeper goes through all my mail. So I get this piece of mail, it's from New York Life. And it says, hey, and it was a recruiting, we're growing and blah, 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 we've heard all about you, da, da, da. Give this person a call for your appointment. I was like, oh, cool. I'm calling, right? So I call. I say, hey, this is Dan Shaw. The guy, listen to this. The guy's name is in Pasadena. The guy's name is Bruce Lee. So I just had fun with the name. I said, dude, your parents call you Bruce Lee? He said, yeah, I've been married all my life. No. I said, so I want to talk about the recruiting, right? So, but I know what I'm looking for, right? So he says, so he starts telling me, no, we have to schedule time for you to come down to the office, da da da. I said, well, I can't come down to the office. Actually, I need to speak to your top producer. I need to speak to someone that makes 7 figures plus. Who in your office makes 7 figures? Oh, that's Mr. So-and-so. That's why I need to talk to him. He said, well, no one talks to him. Okay, tell him that my name is Dan Shaw. I'm with Transamerica World Financial Group. I have 3,500 licensed agents. We do over $20 million a year in premium. I want to talk to him. Because if he can show me something better, I'm coming over. 15 minutes later, he calls me back. He said, I spoke to Mr. So-and-so, he wants to talk to me. So he gets on the phone. He's been with New York Life for I don't know how long. He makes like $4 million a year. So he starts telling me how much production he does, and and all this stuff, and makes $4 million a year, and all this. I said, that's awesome. I said, let me ask you a question. How do I become you? He goes, what do you mean? I said, I want to be you. How do I become you? Is there an opportunity for me to become you? He said, well, I'm a partner. I said, well, how do I become a partner? And he goes, you can't. I go, what do you mean? I can't be you. I can't surpass you. No, it doesn't exist. I go, well, why the hell would I come to you guys? Why would I go there? He's like, you know what, Mr. Shaw, I don't think this is the right fit. Right? Because I understand all this stuff. You follow me? You just can't be singing this stuff. You got to understand it. No financial service experience necessary. Most financial firms, you need to have some type of financial service experience. Right? Test drive you out. You start part-time. You know in Canada you can't start part-time. You got to start full-time. You take that for granted. You keep your job of doing this part-time. You can earn while you learn. Right? No time clock. Can you imagine you don't show up to BPM, your SMD goes, hey, you're fired. You can no longer come here. You realize we can't fire you? That's pretty cool, right? All this stuff, listen to me, guys. There's a lot of value in this. You just don't understand the value. But you have to learn how to sell the value. If you started your own insurance company, you started your own, because people say, well, Dan, why don't you just start your own deal? Because I'm smart. Because I'm smart. But what do you mean by that? Why the hell do I want to start my own deal? For what? Do you know how much headache that is? 30% of nothing is nothing. You realize that? When you realize everything we bring to the table, it's not about gross, it's about net. So these guys that are trying to recruit you, and they say, oh, I made $400,000 this year, and I got a 90% contract, and blah, 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 blah. What did you net? After you pay off all your stuff, what did you net? Joseph and Bashaba, right? They're a couple in Beverly Hills. They own their own insurance agency for 14 years. Right? When we had the conversation in Beverly Hills, they had heard of WFG. So when they showed up, they saw WFG. Bashaba was like, oh my God, I've seen WFG. I've been part of it. I don't have nothing to do with it. So you haven't seen me. You never talked to me. I said, I don't know what you've heard or what you've experienced, but let me tell you about my experience. Went on my WFG online, boom, pulled up all my stuff. Showed up all my stuff, this is my experience. It's what I make, it's what this is, all this stuff. 6-7 trips a year, I'm like, wow, oh my God, you've never seen this WFG. Not yet. I haven't met no one like me. I'm the 20%. You've been talking to all the 80%. Now let's flip the script. Let's take a look at your business. Right? And it was crazy. Like when you learn about the traditional industry. Like all these guys are going after the top 2%. Imagine, all these guys are going after the top 2%. The top 2% know they're going after it. So, guy goes, I want a $50 million house. He's got 6-7 agents that are competing to write that policy. Client goes, well, I can get it from any one of you. What's in it for me? So literally, these guys do something called rebate, which means that they give the client a percentage of their commissions. So I'm recruiting these guys, I go, okay, you made $600,000 this year. That's what you tell them. It says, yeah. I say, what did you net after all your expenses, all this stuff, all the rebate, going back home? After you do all of that, what did you actually get in the bank that's yours? $200,000. So you made $200,000. You didn't make mistakes. That's the number. You follow me on that? So now, understanding all of this stuff, you learn how to communicate. But if you don't understand the value of this, because you don't have anything to compare it to. Follow me? So now, you're recruiting, you can recruit anyone because you know how to talk their language. If I'm talking to a real estate agent, I know his language. I'm talking to an insurance agent, I know his language. I'm talking to a stay-at-home mom, I know her language. I'm talking to a car guy, I know his language. And all recruiting is showing them how they can get what they want in our model. Follow me on that? Which is pretty cool. Why do you think all these big brands are fighting to be on this thing right now? Because they want you to see it. Like, did you guys know who Everest was before they went on our platform? No one knew who Everest was. Why did Everest want to be on our platform? Because we got 65,000 licensed agents. It's actually cheaper for them to be on our platform than to do commercials. You follow me? It's actually better for them to be on our platform because we're kneecap to kneecap telling the stories to families. Do you know how awesome it is for them? You know how much money these guys make from our distribution system? Follow me on that? It's pretty cool. Right? It's all part of your thing, right? All this stuff, you get a chance to have a good time, right? All through building a base shop, you're doing 4, 5, 6 trips a year with the 20%ers. This picture right here is the one Paul was talking about earlier, right? We're in Tahiti on a private executive ship. I was talking to someone the other day, and he's telling me, oh, you know, my wife and I were going to Bora Bora. And I had like a 30-minute conversation with him about Tahiti. I said, man, I was telling him about the Four Seasons out there. I said, you know all the pictures you see? It doesn't no justice. Wait till you get out there. You know the movie Couples Retreat? They filmed it right there in Tahiti and Bora Bora. Right? So, but let me tell you something, guys. It's a whole different world when you travel around. Like literally, like the first time I noticed it, we've been going to Hawaii since 1999, right? So one year, I got this idea, you know what? I'm going to stay an extra 2 days in Hawaii after the company leaves. So the company was gone, and I stayed back. We went by the pool, and I was like, oh my God, where did everybody go? Like there was no one there. I was like, oh, this sucks. Like when we go to Hawaii, like we're getting ready to go to Hawaii in a couple weeks, right? I want you to think about this. We're bringing like 600 couples and their kids. We take over the entire freaking hotel, right? So all the dinners. Imagine being in a place like. Imagine being in a place where it's a like-minded. You see all the 20%ers. Your kids are growing up with other, I mean, it's like, that's why we say WFG kids. Our kids are a little bit different. Right? Because they're traveling the world, they're developed, they're having conversations, they're poolside, they're doing all this stuff, right? The spouses are having a great time. You know, we're having dinners together, we're having lunches together. Like when we do dinners at night, right? Now that you remember this, like we have 10 couples at the table. The kids have their own tables over here. They got the kids' tables over here. I mean, it's just cool stuff. You get a chance to travel the world with your friends, the people you compete with. All these great ideas and stuff like that, and you're doing that 5-6 times a year. Like for a long time, my kids didn't even think Hawaii was like a contest. Like just this year, I told my son, I said, hey, my 9-year-old was like, Dad, when are we going to Hawaii? I go, what do you mean when we're going to Hawaii? It's a contest. I got to win. He goes, what are you talking about, Dad? We always go to Hawaii. Now all of a sudden you say it's a contest? He's like, we're going to Hawaii, right? I go, yeah, we're going to Hawaii, but Daddy, it's a contest. Daddy has to win. He's like, we're going to Hawaii, right? I go, yeah, we're going to Hawaii, whatever. You follow me? It's like amazing stuff. You get a chance to do cool stuff, right? So this picture right here, I gotta tell you this picture right here. You see that picture right here of me on the golf course? I forgot where I was at, right? It's far about that. I'll leave that. No, I tell you. So I'm about to go play golf, right? I'm about to go play golf. And my ex-wife, she loves drama, right? So she texted me some stuff that's drama. So I take that picture and I send it to her. Right? Anyway, that's the whole thing. I don't know why I told you that. Anyway. Whew. See, when you create momentum in your life, nothing ever bothers you. You get a chance to have fun. I remember all my buddies that quit on me, I faxed my copies of my checks after my first year. I let them rub it in. They were rubbing it in on you. Get it back a little bit. It's actually fun. Right? Products we offer, we have all the products here. You're going to learn about all that stuff. Right? Calculating your points, knowing how to do that. Right? you got your life and securities license, and average SMD, you should be making $68,000 average to the highest $593,000. Got a different peer group. Remember the IRS in the normal world, you're no longer in a normal world. In the normal world, right, the IRS put out a publication, 93% of the population makes less than $100,000 a year, 50% of that 93% makes less than $28,000 a year. That's the normal world. You are now in the WFG world. In the WFG world, you're an SMD. Normal is 68,000, highest is 598. If you got your advisory license, normal is 81,000, highest is close to $1 million. You start developing some SMDs, right? You become an executive marketing director. Normal there is $210,000 a year. That's normal. That's an average cat here. You're the MD, you make the 210, that's the average cat. You ain't doing nothing big. You're at your job in the normal world, you make $200,000 a year, you're a big shot. They call you CEO or executive or all that stuff. Here, there's no biggie here. You're just an average cat. That's why we say average. See that? COMB, average, $472,000 a year. What would you have to do to go make $400,000 or $500,000? Think about that. So it's real simple for me, right? I didn't make it professional athlete, right? Now single, right? The hell am I going to do? Go make $500,000 a year. I don't have like a specific skill set, like a surgeon or a high-end attorney or a high-end specialist doctor. I don't have any of those things. What am I going to do? That's legal. Right? $4 billion. Become an EBC. Average 1.2 to 10 billion, and that's even higher now. Right? So now, do you want to be a big fish in a small pond? Or you want to be a small fish in a big pond? Follow me? So you want to constantly change that. So now, you're no longer being compared to the averages of society. You have changed your peer group. Does that make sense? So now that has made you uncomfortable with where you're at right now. Say, see, what I love about our opportunity, regardless of where you're at right now, let's say you look at your income and you say, you know, I'm making $50,000 a year, I'm making $100,000 a year, I'm making $200,000. You can go from that to the top 1% of the wealthiest in income here in WHA. And no one even knows who you are. Ain't that crazy? You can walk into a room with the best of best. None of them even know who you are. There's certain rooms that I float around in, certain things that I do. People don't even know. They go like, what does this guy do? Because they think I'm an athlete or something. How did they do all this stuff? Hey, I'm a big base shop builder, WFG. Does that make sense? Big base shop builder, you do a lot of cool stuff. You travel all around the world. You stay at all the same hotels. You fly in all the same jets. You sit in first class with all the people. You roll the way they roll. But all you have to do is recruit some people, field train, right? Recruit and field train. Get wide field train. You got access to all of that stuff, which is pretty cool stuff, right? Now, one of the things that I want you to shoot for is the field advisory board, right? Synergy Field Advisory Board. You saw the leaders up here with their beautiful jackets, right? You got to get to a $250 million club, right? Because you make at least $200,000 $250,000 a year. You're at least an executive market director, which means that not only are you a senior market director, you've shown some leadership skills where you can develop other senior market directors. Right? And you're doing at least 1 million points in your overall team. If you do that, you'll be part of the field advisory board, which means that we want your input in the decision in the direction of where the team's going. We're looking for the next wave of leaders in here. Right, which is pretty cool. This is some other cool stuff we had a chance to do. Moulin Rouge, that's in Paris. I won't tell you guys about it. Pretty fun. On Google. Right? Cabo. Some of you had to compete for Cabo. I announced that at the Wealth Bowl. Some of you here underneath different EPCs. I'm sure your EPC is doing something with your team. Right? Bottom line is you got to compete. Your EPC puts out a contest. We put out the contest because we want to see who's going to compete. And this is where we meet the next leaders of the hierarchy, which is pretty cool. Odyssey. Right? Still competing for that. We're going to, where are we going? We're going to Australia with WMG. The last big trip, we were in Germany. That was so much fun. Right? So imagine Avon's motto is respect people, make money, and have fun. But you have to be willing to pay the price. So today, you made a decision today. Right? That decision has to be backed up by immediate massive action. That makes sense? So through this SMD University that we're going to put in, we're going to create all the challenges, all the homework. You're going to have the direct associations. You're going to have some of the top leaders. You're not just going to hear from me. You're going to hear some top leaders from the hierarchy. Right? They're going to be giving you input and information on how to grow your business. And the goal is that by the time we're done, that you have your SMD promotion and you've built the business, or the start of the business. Right? When you hit SMD, that's when your business starts. Does that make sense? We want you to have a clear goal of, hey, I'm going to hit SMD, I'm going to do it within the next 4 months. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to break. Does anybody have any questions for me before? I'll take 3 questions. You guys are always scared to ask a question. What was the last book? The last book, your question was, what was the last book I read? Is that your question? So, your question is, what was the last book I read? And what was my biggest nugget that I got from that book? Is that biggest takeaway? Is that your question? Okay. So it's kind of what I shared up front. I told you guys I read, the last book I read was The Paradigm Shift. And one of the big takeaways, I think, is what I shared with you guys. Does that answer your question? Good question? Stand up. Stand up. What are we going to do? The insurance division of Merrill Lynch was bought out by him. Last question. Part of your question was, Ed told me that I needed to raise my belief about the opportunity. What helped me with that? I started reading more. Right? I started reading more. I started I understand the stats. Follow me? So when someone says, well, you know, no one's really looking for an opportunity, that's not true. There's 9.8 million people in LA County. The average median income is $55,000 a year. the more educated I made myself, I said, then every time I would read that, I would go, oh my God, this is why WFG is so great. Right? So it kept raising my belief. So when people would tell me stupid stuff, I go, dude, you're stupid. I don't say that, but I say, you're stupid. That's an ignorant comment. Because I had enough data and understanding, and I knew this was the best thing. Versus where I'm not sold out myself. I have to raise my conviction. Cool? Okay. I hope once you make a decision, and you build a team, that one day, as you're building your team, you can attract someone into your business that their success will bring you a tremendous amount of joy. Right? So I remember when Marlette recruited me, and I remember him saying, after 7 years in the business, it was so great to have someone that loved the business as much as he did. So next you get a chance to hear from someone that I feel the same way about. Right? He loves the business just like I do. Right? And I've watched him for the last 11, 12 years work on himself tremendously, him and his family. Now he's the leader of his own organization of the Dream Givers. And listen to this, you guys. He's 33 years old. Can you imagine this? I got introduced to this at 33. Can you imagine 10 years from now where he's going to be at 10 years from now? Right? 10 years from now, I'm 60. 10 years from now, he's 43. Isn't that cool? Right? I mean, it's incredible. I've watched him grow in every area of his life. Right? So this is a guy not only runs a great business, but he has a great quality of life. Right? Very actively in the game. He's a doer. Remember I said, if you can't do, teach. And if you can't teach, consult. The people that are going to be up here are going to be doers. Does that make sense? So you get a chance to hear from someone that's actually doing it. That's actually built a team, that's gone through all the challenges that we go through building a business. This is a very mentally tough guy. If I was in a foxhole, and if I was in a combat environment, and I was in a foxhole, I would want him to be in that foxhole with me. Does that make sense? So I want you guys to give a round of applause and a big welcome to Mr. Paul Archer.
Here's what you want in your business. Before the next class, you go get 10, 15, 20 people part of this class with you. Does that make sense? One of the outcomes of the class is, here's the best, let me give you the best case, worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you become an SMD. Worst case scenario, you become a trainer. Does that make sense? I'm talking about an effective, money-making trainer. How many of you guys want that? That's the outcome. So me and Melinda have been talking all night. I think this is, I don't know, something just came to me last night, and I'm going to do everything I can to put a can of whoop ass in the company, and it's going to be a representation of the city team. And a good amount of it, a lot of my energy will be directed to the people here. By the way, I honor your commitment tonight. I came here, you light me up. Does that make sense? You guys give me so much energy. There's about 350 butts in the room here. And I can't tell you how fired up I am for you, your family, and your future. And I'm excited for you. This is when's the last, how about if this was your base shot? That's what I'm thinking about right? I'm thinking about this as my base shot, right? One quiz here, I got another 349, you know what I mean? And so, anyway, think about this too. When's the last time? By the way, me and Dan are the only EBCs on the team, and you both have them here tonight. And everybody left, all the high title CEOs. I made a U-turn coming. Like, I went to Long Beach. I said I was going to go down the street to Long Beach, right? So it's like 30 miles. Went to Long Beach, did a rollover, IUL, drove back here. I got my grandmother's 98th birthday party. Started at 6, it's 9 now. They can wait. There's a bunch of other people there, so it's fine. But the reason is, I would have been there. There's a lot of places me and Dan can be, but I'll tell you the truth, there's nowhere else for us to be. That's true. That's real. That's true. And so the next 7 classes, there's 7 classes, right? There's 7 of these that goes on. In between that, it's not enough just to have the classes. In between that, we got some stuff that's going to go on with different things we'll be doing, and it's going to explode your business. The exact experience I had in Tahiti, we're going to simulate it in your business, where you have the same peer group, where you explode out and become the top trainer, #1 trainer, elite SMD, whatever you want to call it, right? So, anyway, you guys like some of that? By the way, I'm going to give you guys some ideas. So, you'll see like me here, and, I'm pretty comfortable being me. At one time I wasn't. I like me, I love me, I love to listen to my jokes and laugh at my jokes, you know what I mean? So it's easy to be me now, right? At one point I was trying to be someone else, and usually it's the process of you growing, you know what I mean? So it's what you know, what you do, it meets each other, and now you're growing and you like you. Does that make sense? So I'm thinking about Dan here for a second, just to roast him a little bit, right? Dan used to make like a little below 3,000 a month. You guys understand? Dan used to stutter when he talked. You guys understand? He couldn't get the words out of his mouth. And he's a brilliant speaker or what? So sometimes we can take our worst, our weakness and turn it into our biggest gift. Right? This is like my worst nightmare was to speak up on stage, and now I enjoy it. I actually enjoy it now. But me and Nate were like in the back. Even Mojo, we would be in the bathroom. We would find where the bathroom is, and we would stay there for about 28 minutes because we know that's how long it takes before they break the floor. So just give you guys some thoughts on that. So, all right, here we go. All right. So let me ask you a question. How would you like to learn how to? I see myself as a Picasso in business now, right? Just because I can imagine, write it up, and then execute, and then you have it in front of you. And so we're going to implement a lot of that stuff with you. I'm going to teach you guys everything I know. I'm going to teach you guys all the secrets of the game, everything you need to know from beginning to end. And one of the things, one of the reasons I want to do that is because when you go do it, and then you tell my team that you just did it, that they've been hearing for like 3-4 months, then it'll empower my team to listen more. Does that make sense? It works both ways. You know what I mean? So these work both ways. So, all right, so that's one. All right, we got that. I'm going to give you one thing I'm going to share before I pass it on to Linda. Okay, I love index cards. I'm an index card fan. I don't use like, you call it, iPads, iPhones, at least to take notes. I like to feel it, see it, touch it. It's like I want to touch my dreams. So, you guys, I don't know, that's me. So if you guys like to write things, how many of you guys like to write things down, feel it, touch it, see it? So I like index cards. So one of the things, it could be index card, it could be a blank piece of paper, whatever you want to use. I just want to go over an exercise with you. And this could be, as you're doing the homework, this is part of the stuff you do with it, and it will give it life. Right? The plan is just numbers, it's facts, and all that stuff. I want you to have some life in it, and then it comes alive. So when you're doing your plan, I want to go over what's called, I call it the big three. Okay? So the big three is, so I'll give you just my example, and then we'll elaborate more in the next class. So the big three is, if you condense everything you want, so we're talking about 2017, if you condense everything you want, and you narrowed it down to 2 or 3 things. You screwed up everything else, but 2 or 3 things happened in your life in 2017. What would they be? Do you know? Number one, do you know what it is? And if not, then ponder. I mean, this can be a night you ponder on it, or just go back to whatever, right? Don't just crash after this. Just take some time to ponder. But what would those 3 things be? And so it could be multiple things. Name me out one. Just shout one out. Out of debt. Okay. How much debt? 20,000. Okay, 20,000. What else? Okay. All right. What else? All right, boss, what would it take for that? 5,000, so 60,000 a year. So part of the plan, for example, would be just. So, for example, for me, when I got started, it was to have 100 grand in my checking account. It's funny you mentioned that a lot ago. But 100 grand in my checking account, and then 40,000 to get rid of 40,000 in debt and have paid off cars. Those are my 3 things back then, right? And so, and I knew, those were my big 3, which means everything screw up, which means if I have 100 grand in my account, I need to make more than 100, right? If I have to pay 40,000 in debt, then obviously I need to have more than 140,000 that I made. So if you add all that up, that's about 180 plus my living condition. And back then my overhead was about 4,000 a month only. Right now it's like maybe like 5 times 5 of that or something. But or 6, 7. So that would mean I had to make 220 and I haven't even paid taxes. But basically we hit all 3 of these, right? And so, but I was clear on why we wanted it, right? So I was clear on why I wanted to check the 100,000 in our savings and this and that. And so for now, for example, right now, the 3 things, for example, you guys want to know quick? I'll just give you guys some ideas of what you can have. So one of them is to have 2,000 licensed agents by the end of the year. Okay? I have 800 now, so 1,200 additional. That make sense? So I'm thinking just not just me, it's the whole team. So 1,200, so 2,000 licensed agents. The second one is additional $1 million saved. And then the third one is 100 total SMDs. So there's 46 right now, that means there's 54 more. And there's a lot of base shops growing. I plan to promote out 54 SMDs. And this is one of the platforms we're going to utilize this in. That make sense? So there's only going to be 2 of these this year. You're in one of them, and in one, and then it's not. Okay? So I'm super excited about that. So anyway, I'm sharing those 3 things with you. And if you notice, I didn't even put an income in. You guys notice that? Because my question to myself is, who do I need to become to create value to these people's lives? We have 2,000 licensed agents, and then as a byproduct, I mean, of course, I'm making money. I mean, I did the math, it's about 1.8 million. But that's a byproduct of me doing that. So if I don't provide the value, for example, instead of me putting an income, maybe some of you guys can adjust your goals. So my income will be, number one, also, the second thing, I'm basing my income not based on personal production. That makes sense? Most people, they do a plan, 100 grand, and I'll do 400,000 personal coins, right? That's how I usually do my plan. I said, let me figure out what kind of value I can give, right? Or what what's the byproduct of that? The other way around. Make sense? So, anyway, I'm fired up about it, and then we'll go over how to dissect that and kind of go over that and make it simple. How to have clarity in your plan. How to have complete clarity in your plan and decide the best way to execute it. So, anybody interested in that? All right. So, and it's a lot of it is the little things. You just got to get the little things in the business. How many of you guys agree it's the little things? Yeah. Relationships, it's the little things. Yeah. You forgot the same thing. You ignored for a couple seconds. You didn't open the door, whatever it is. Right? Anyway, so. Keep on going. Alright. Last one. You ready, Glenda? I just want to make sure I cover that's a lot of these things. Oh, so last one. So you do your you grab your paper. Remember I was on paper, index card. You draw a line right in the middle, and this is where it gets clear. So on the left, you put what you don't want to show up in your life anymore. Okay? The challenge with problems, if we don't solve it, the same one keeps coming back. That's why we have a term called chronically broke. It's not that you're chronically broke, it just keeps doing the same thing over and over again, but you're not fixing it. So now you're blessed with the same problem every time. You know what I mean? And the problem is, if you fix that problem, you get a bigger problem. So don't wish for less problems, just wish for bigger problems. So I want to enhance, I want to upgrade my problems. I want you guys to put that in notes. I want to upgrade my problems. So if you have like $1,000 problems, $10,000 problems. Some people have $100,000 problems. Right? Trump might have, I don't know, $10 million problems. Just gave away his whole company, right? So you got, so on the left, so for example, I'll give you mine. This is back then, and I remember it vividly. So for example, if I don't get my big three, so maybe it's the ring, it's SMD promotion, but in fact, how many of you guys want to be SMDs? Just a little switch, okay? Instead of putting SMD, how about build 3 MDs? Forget SMD. In fact, forget you. Get locked. Just focus on 3 MDs. So that's the challenge with most people. They just focus on that. And nothing wrong with it. Of course, that's the byproduct. But if I focus on 3 MDs, I automatically become SMD. Not only that, I become a strong, healthy SMD. Does that make sense? So now I change my problem. So now also when you're communicating with your team, watch this. They're seeing them in your plan as opposed to SMD as just you. Does that make sense? We're talking about 3 MDs, so now you're casting your vision to the team. We're going to have 3 MDs in the next 3 months. And now they go, man, that's me. You guys see that? So now you can fit them in their vision. I mean, this is the stuff we'll go over. You see how little difference it makes, but big impact? Little things that make impact. I'll tell you that. Alright, so watch this. So I put a line in the middle, and let's say develop 3 MDs, hit my $100,000 ring, and save $50,000. Let's just say that's the number. So if I don't get this going, what will it cost me? Or what problems? So for example, and to me, I make it worse than it is. I rather make it worse in my mind than meet reality in my face. So if I don't do it anyway, I'm going to meet that reality in my face. Does that make sense? And you do. I mean, so I lose my respect for my team, lose my house, not provide for my children or my wife, no birthday gifts at all, right? Horrible Christmas. At least, no gifts. I mean, just wrapping the same toy that they had from 3 years ago, wrapping it up again. I mean, like, this is stuff that goes through my mind. I mean, so, like, pretending to have a gift and I return it to Target, moved to my mother-in-law's house. That was sickening. I almost threw up. And as I'm going over this, my wife's crying. I mean, like, we're tearing up. Right? This is like a tearing conversation. By the way, more emotion into it and more emotion out of it. Okay? Ask for money. Like, that's like extreme pain to me. So ask for money. Like, I don't remember the last time I asked for money. I just have a hard time asking for money. And I never And so that's the, I don't want to show up in my life anymore on this. And then the other side, right, I put lead my team, respect my team, make my leader proud, give my family peace of mind, be somebody I'm proud of, and my wife and my family that would be proud of. I'm the hero to my children. I'm an incredible provider. Right? I love me. All that stuff. So, I mean, you can obviously whatever moves you there, right? Provide for the mother, I mean, whatever you want to compare to right. But the point is, the other one. So most people, they do the other exercise, they forget to do the other one. You need both. One gets you up. The other one inspires me to take action. Right? That pulls me. It inspires you to take action. It's a fun ride. So when I was saying massive, inspired action plan, that's what I meant by that. I didn't get a chance to go over that with you, but you guys got a chance to hear it. We'll do more of this. And so I want to bring up Melinda Blue Taylor. Thank you guys for your time. We will see you on the 4th. And we are SMD Academy.
Alright, so you guys, before I give you the homework, a couple of housekeeping, right? We want to make sure we're out of here on time. One is everybody that has trash or you have trash next to you, please take the trash and put it in the trash cans. And gentlemen, if you can help us at least fold the white chairs to help them, because we might go over like a second or so, that can help the center get us out of here on time. Alright, everybody say homework? You know what homework means? Just so you guys know, February 4th, you guys can take a seat. February 4th is going to be our first class. We'll get you the location, we'll get all those things. Make sure you use the Eventbrite to register. Even if you had somebody that did not stay for orientation, you can make sure they get the information and they can still register by Saturday on Eventbrite. Right? Don't you guys wish some people left, you know they shouldn't have left or they didn't know what they were going to get? Imagine today was just a piece of what you're going to get in this whole class, this whole trip. Just a piece of it. Alright, so homework, we want you to take this very serious because in each one of the classes, we're going to review the homework. You're not just going to turn in homework. It's an interactive homework assignment, and every assignment is built for you to get to your goals and dreams. So make sure you understand what's actually happening. Alright, that being said, homework assignment. One is everybody needs to go on the MyWFT website and the promotion tracker. You need to screenshot it and print it out. When we say screenshot it, there's two ways. If you don't know it, get one of your compadres for you. We want the current and then unclick the current box, and that will be for the previous 3 months. So you want two screenshots, current and not current, and your title should be Senior Marketing Director. So we want to see the percentages you're going to have on that. Two screenshots, current, and then uncheck the current box. And whatever one's going to get you close towards our term rate with MD, one MD or two SMDs, whichever one's going to give you the highest percentage, that's what you want. Your business plan, right? Not just a piece of paper you wrote. Paul gave you guys a real good idea to put the big three in your business plan. And we want a business plan that specifically has your game plan to get to SMD by May 31st. We want to know what your game plan is. You're missing license agents, what those license agents look like. I need cash flow, how much cash flow I need. I need production, I need recruits, I need senior associates, MDs, whatever your specific plan is, reach out to your SMD and so they can help you actually with that. We're going to turn that in. We want a map of your team. I don't care if it's measured circle, quarter circle. We want a readable map of your team. How many license agents you have and the people that are showing to VPNs. Don't put a person on there you recruited 2 years ago and you're trying to revive them. We can't help you if we don't know the real deal. If it's you only, we want your circle, you, and a blank piece of paper, right? So still turn in something that tells us your actual active team that's going to be around to help you get to Senior Marketing Director. We need to see that now so we can see the progress we're having. How many licensed agents you have, put their name and their license, and then again, the team that's attending the VPN record, right? Everybody got that? It's very clear, right? Your homework assignment is going to get tougher. This is so we can all be on the same starting point. The action step for your homework. Between now and February 4th, everyone here needs to get 1 direct and 3 personal sales. 1 direct your code number, and your name is personally on 3 sales from now to February 4th. Now, what happens if you don't do your homework? We're not in a position where we're trying to strike people out. We're trying to get people to become senior marketing directors, right? So because you don't hit it, we're going to find out what do we need to do for you to hit it the next time, right? So that's kind of going to be the interaction. We're going to give you solutions to the problems that's preventing you from going to senior marketing director. You guys get it? You're all in? You're going to be broken into groups. We're going to have strict accountability, not just with your peers, but Paul Ironton, myself, as quite a few of the other leaders are going to be putting our time in to make sure we keep you accountable to hit your goals and dreams, right? We still have SMDs debating that they're going to be allowed, as of now, you're not allowed for the next classes, but we're going to handpick a few SMDs that we will allow to attend all the rest of the classes throughout the rest of SMD University. Hope you guys got a fulfilled day. Remember, your goals and dreams is our goals and dreams. And we'll see you guys all at the top. Get the trash and please exit as soon as you can. Thank you.
Oh yes, just barely. Just barely.